ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Alhamdulillah, we praise the Lord, we seek His aid and His forgiveness, we seek refuge in Allah from the evils of our own selves, from the harm of our own wrongdoing. Whomsoever Allah guides, no one can lead astray. Whomsoever He leads astray, no one can guide. And I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, who is one without any partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the servant of His messenger. O believers, fear Allah, they should be feared and do not die, except as a Muslim. And so I remind you, I remind myself always to have the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, that is the most important thing for any human being, and for a Muslim in particular. Because again, having taqwa defines your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. You're the most honorable of you, the greatest of you, the best of you, the most valuable of you. Everyone has taqwa. Prophet ﷺ said that Allah does not look at your colors and your forms, your shapes, but He looks at your hearts. Taqwa. It's in your heart, in your deeds, your actions, your behavior, your ibadah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to always make us mindful of the importance of taqwa, and that we stay on our job. We stay on our job of developing taqwa. Alhamdulillah. Today's topic, inshallah, I'm going to talk about a number of things, pass on some information to you, give you some instruction in terms of the jumas that will come after, because we're opening up somewhat now, opening up the masjids, and so we'll be limited because we still have to practice the social distancing. So there won't be no mad rush, crowd, So there's some guidelines that we have to follow, so I'll try to, inculcate all of that in today's sermon again. But my main topic today is talking about racism. All right? Last week we talked about our role as Muslims in the climate of all the things that are going on. This movement, this new movement, if you will, of this movement of social, struggling against the injustices going on, the injustice of racism and the social injustices that black people are experiencing. So we talked about that and our role with regards to this new movement. In fact, it's a global phenomenon, really. So it's a movement. People are being impacted all over the world, because of the death and the murder of, George Floyd. All right? And of course, we mentioned before that he's just one of many. The list go on. People are tired, and Allah, this is Allah's doing. We couldn't have called it. When you look around what is going on, you see statues falling. Racist statues, symbols of arrogance and symbols of racism and white supremacy. Statues are falling. People are like outraged. Everybody, not just black, but white. And this is a good thing. Why? Because, in order for change to take place, it's going to take all of us. Black people can't do it by themselves. Can't. White folks can't do it by themselves. The elders can't do it by themselves. The youngsters can't, Everybody got to be in. Everybody got to weigh in. Everybody got to be involved, alhamdulillah. And that's what you see manifest itself all over the world. Even politicians getting involved. Law enforcement getting involved. Everybody see it. Everybody's feeling it. And this is good. So it's a good sign. There's great possibilities, man. in terms of real change, you know. And for those of us who've been on the planet a long time, we say, wow, alhamdulillah. I mean, this is Allah's deal. This is Allah's doing, man, you know. All of the prior movements and efforts of people and groups and organizations and movements to bring about social change, you know, Allah causing one person to get killed unjustly, and we see it, and that sparks a whole movement. It's amazing. Okay? So these are things that, subhanAllah, you know, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal, you know. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, this issue of racism. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, so I want to say first that the solution to racism, Islam has the solution. Islam has the solution. Allah Almighty, Allah is great, and we are blessed to have the solution. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ خَبِيرٌ." O mankind, Allah, O mankind, surely we created you from a male and a female, Adam and Eve, and made you into nations and tribes that you may know each other. You should not despise it. Get to know each other. Surely the most honorable of you in the sight of Allah is the one that has taqwa, as we mentioned as I opened up. That's how Allah measures people. That's how Allah measures His creation. You see? So this beautiful verse, subhanAllah, I remember when I took Shahada 50-something years ago. It was this verse that just transformed my heart. You know, because I took Shahada in a climate similar to this. In the late 60s, the civil rights struggle, you know, the black consciousness movement. That's what was going on. And I wanted to know what color was God. What color was God Almighty? What color was the first man? Because again, that was the climate. That was the climate. And all our lives, you know, the institutional racism, which we didn't call it that then. We didn't understand what institutional racism was, but we grew up in it. We grew up in the church, and all the images of God was white. God was white. The angels was white. You see? Jesus was white. Everything was white. You know, everything painted on the glass, the church windows. You see? So it was real. But you weren't even conscious of it. See, that's the institutional kind of, you know, racism, something that'll get by you. But you grow up thinking that God is white, everything is white. You know, you're less than that too. So it was this ayah. After a brother told me, God ain't got no color. You know, we don't know what color the first man was. Don't matter. It all came from two. And he gave that ayah. So, whoa. I was hooked. SubhanAllah. Yeah, I was trying to connect with the struggle, but I was hooked at that point. SubhanAllah. I want to be Muslim. You see? And so Allah's kind. So that has to be part of that's our message to our fellow citizens, our neighbors and people, white people, black people. That's our message. So that's what it's about. It's about Allah, the Creator, and He created all of us. And look, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says also, you know, and I'll just give you the English meaning. And among His signs is this, that He created you from dust, and then behold, you are human beings scattered far and wide. Surah Al-Rum, verse 20. And also in Surah Al-Rum. And among His signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the variations in your languages and your colors. Verily, these are signs for those who know. Surah Al-Rum, 26. Look at this beautiful, powerful, and simple teaching. Solves the problem. But you know what? If you don't have Iman and you don't believe it, then you'll you'll be of those who again will be caught up into this kind of, you'll have these biases. You'll think you're superior to others based upon your color, so forth and so on, based upon your tribe, so forth and so on. You got to believe it. You see? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us, again, He lets us know, that we all, we one human family. We all connected. We all connected. Through the first parents, Adam and Eve, subhanAllah. It's all the human beings, it's all a human family. Some are believers, some are kafirs. Some became Christians, some became Jews, some became Buddhists, some became whatever they became. Some became atheists, some became homosexuals. Turn that light on back there, please. All right? But we all still one human family, no matter. And everybody has their human rights, and everybody do that. Bottom line. And the most honorable of you in the sight of Allah is one that's close to Allah, the one that's conscious of Allah, the one that worships Allah one time. So these very, very beautiful teachings. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, he said, no Arab is better than a non-Arab. And no non-Arab is better than, better than an Arab. And no white is better than a black, and no black is better than a white. All of your sons of Adam, and Adam's created dust. That's our teaching in a nutshell. That's it. That's it. Simple. Okay? But if we don't believe, if we're not connected with Allah, and we don't fear Allah, and we don't understand that our purpose in life is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and part of that worship is to obey His commandment in regards to these things that He said, then we'll fall into error. So today, and those who are not here, and those who will hear this talk today, on Facebook or wherever it goes, and you pass on to others, inshallah, we need to reflect. We got to get rid of racism in ourselves, in our hearts. And we should not act like we don't have, racism in us. And I'm not saying you're a racist because you have some racist traits or attitudes and words that you may, we need to reflect upon ourselves. The Prophet, alhamdulillah, he taught us well. He experienced it during his time. He called it filthy. He called it filth. It's jahiliyyah. It's filth. He said, get rid of this filth. This filth of nationalism. This filth of feeling superior to others based upon your color or your group. And in the Sahih Bukhari hadith, it mentions when one of the companions of the Prophet told Bilal, oh, you son of a black woman. Derogatory racist statement when he said, companion being taught by the Prophet. So you see, good Muslim, no doubt. See, that's what he did. And of course, make a long story short, Allah admonished him. The Prophet admonished, the brother for that. And alhamdulillah, he apologized, so forth and so on. So I'm citing that example to you. And some say it was a companion, Abu Dhar Ghifar. Some say it was him. But in Sahih Bukhari, it doesn't say who it is. It just mentioned it, incident. All right? So Allah knows best. But the whole point is, it existed during the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Lock the door now, okay? Lock the door now. Nobody gets in. That's it. Lock the door. Nobody can get in after this. We got enough people in here. That's one of the rules. You got to get here before 1. I extended it today because you didn't know anything. Next week, you come in after 1, you won't get in. You won't get in, brothers. Sorry. We got to keep the space, please. And sit down. Sit where those pieces of tape on the floor are. Because that's the 6 feet distance. So again, subhanAllah, it existed during the time of the Prophet ﷺ. So we should, so racism, we got to fight. That's part of the struggle against shaitan and yourself. Get racism out of you, man. We want to help everybody, and now we, hey, what about us? What about our own communities? I got children. I got children that grew up in Islam and attended some of the Muslim institutions and experienced racism. Say, Abu, Why do you treat us like this and we treat others like that? Experiences for it firsthand. I know young people left the deen because of what they ain't no brother in Islam, phony people. They treat the Arab this way, they treat the black brother that way. Fact. It's real. I know brothers who went to school abroad, young brothers. You see? They left Islam. Imam, do you know what I went through over there? I mean, my family lived for a number of years in one of the Muslim countries. And told me some of the experience they had with the people there. They look at us like we, because we black. I don't know, brothers and sisters. So it's there. It's there. It is. Many of our great scholars made some mistakes in this regard. Ibn Khaldun, if you read some of his literature, you'll find some, what we would say, racist statement. Doesn't mean he was a racist, a great scholar. It doesn't mean he made a mistake. He was human. Just like Abu Dhar. Human. Prophet checked him, but it's there. Ibn Kathir, even some of his commentaries, even some of his tafsir, yeah. He makes some statements. He falls into that same kind of thing. Doesn't mean he's a racist. He made a mistake. So if you ain't careful, it's all over. I got some stuff I'll show you. You say, wow. Some stuff I won't even tell you. Because you probably get angry. But one of our great scholars, Ibn Jawzi, I got the book in my library. He wrote a book called The Virtues of the Blacks. Virtues of the Black. He's a 10th century scholar of our ummah. Rahimahullah. Great scholar. SubhanAllah. He wrote a book to empower and to uplift the blacks. Because one black brother came to him. He had an inferiority complex because of what he was experiencing, racism. It's amazing. He was down. Ibn Jawzi wrote a book. And in that book, he mentioned all the companions that was black. Like me and brothers sitting over there, black. Companions that were close to the Prophet. Besides Bilal. We know about Bilal. There were many of the companions of the Prophet that were from Abyssinia, Africa. And many other contemporary scholars and writers have written on this subject. You see? Well, there was a problem amongst us. So this is the reality, okay? So, does it mean that we're racist? Those people who, no, I'm going to say that. How can a Muslim be racist? No, but Muslim can fall into the trap, like some of the companions fell into, and the Prophet corrected, and through our history, some of our scholars, and even today, it's real. So let's take the blinders off our eyes and the blinders off our hearts, and let's not get, no. So I have friends. From Pakistan and India. I have friends from the Middle East, friends of mine. And they'll tell me, Mom, some of our people are so racist. They admit it. They tell you in a minute. So I'm not exaggerating. I'm just giving it to you raw. Let's not be hypocrites. Yeah, the white man. Look at yourself. Straighten it all out. We gotta. So perhaps this is a wake-up call. Perhaps this is a wake-up call for everybody. Wow. Wow. Okay. I remember somebody questioned Malcolm X back in the days, in the 60s. He was giving a lecture on black history. I remember. I got the book over there in the corner. And during the question and answer period, during his lecture, because he was talking about slavery and what they did to us in slavery, and then one of the people in the audience, but Malcolm, what about the Arabs? And he said, what about the Africans that sold us into slavery? And what about the Arabs that participated? See, sometimes we get like, oh. And then Malcolm said, yes, you're right. Yes. Yeah, we, some of our own people sold us. Yes, and the Arabs, they participated too. Yeah. And the white man, it was 3. So we don't have to deny that. There was some unscrupulous Muslim or Arab or whatever, unscrupulous, and didn't have the taqwa of Allah. They were selling. Yeah, they did that to us. We went through it, man. Yeah. So there's no denial. We have to make tawbah. Okay? But these are realities. Okay? And of course, we can go on what people did to what, man has been unjust to his fellow man. I mean, it's not, in other words, not confined to one particular group. That's the whole point. Nobody is guiltless. No one is innocent. When you look at our history ain't rosy at all. It's not a fairy tale. We like to talk about the golden age, but it ain't no fairy tale. And what we did to each other based on tribe, based on ethnicity. I'm telling you, it's those of us who believe. Even the tribal wars, the sectarian wars that goes on today amongst Muslims, man. He said, where's the brotherhood? Where's the unity? Where's the love of each other? Where's the idea that the Prophet ﷺ said, do not become unbelievers after me cutting each other's throats. Probably knew we were going to get into that. Our faith becomes so weak, or we lose it, that we start acting like, hey, we have no guidance. So this issue of racism, subhanAllah. Let me just, subhanAllah. There's one young lady, I'm going to mention this here. We're talking about racism. All right. The simple definition of racism, is to have prejudice, to be prejudiced or biased, feel superior over someone, of another color, based on race and color. All right, basic definition, okay? In the different dictionaries, they give you, they elaborate, they get very philosophical when they define racism. But the definitions in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, one young lady, in the Midwest somewhere, I forgot what city it was. Her name was Kennedy Mitchum. Kennedy Mitchum, that's her name. She's become famous like Floyd. Like Floyd. George Floyd. She become very famous. No, never heard of a 22-year-old graduate student, She challenged the standard definition of racism. And she wrote the editor of that dictionary and told him, hey man, what about systemic racism? Systemic and institutional racism, the kind of, so in other words, racism is not just the feeling or belief, one is superior based on race and color, but it must include, is what you said, that it must include the idea, of prejudice and superiority, through systematic oppression of minority groups. Oppression of minority groups in socially, economically, and politically. It has to be included in that. That's where systemic racism come in. Racism in education. The educational system, there's racism in it. You see? There's racism in the wealth disparity of blacks and minorities. White folks make 10 times as much as black folk do, the average. These are the statistics, man. How we live, where we live. There's racism there. You see? So she contacted him and told him, you got to include that. And he wrote her back. A couple of days later, and said, you're right. We have to update it. Now they're trying to include this definition, they're trying to work out the wording of it, but the systemic and institutional racism will be included now. So you say, okay, now when you see the poor hospitals and the poor clinics in the neighborhoods and the high unemployment, and the level of education, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I'm not confusing anybody. Alhamdulillah, I just want to express what's in my heart and what I'm feeling, what I've been reading and researching in preparation for today's sermon and the talks that I will be giving on an ongoing basis, to enlighten people. Because this is the climate we're in now. We got to talk real. We got to be relevant to what's going on. We're Muslim. We're Muslim. So again, yes, we want to help, our, black people. Yes, I feel like I feel that Allah will give me like a second wind. And I've been working for Islam over 50 years. I'm getting a second wind. I'm excited. I want to do more. Or I accept whatever I can do. SubhanAllah, for whatever years I have left. or months. SubhanAllah. All right, I'm at that age now. I'm looking down. You see? Well, as long as Allah keep me going, alhamdulillah. You know, man, what else can I do? Yeah. There's certain things perhaps we didn't take care of in prior years. All of us, we neglected. You know, we neglected our people. We didn't, subhanAllah. So whatever I can do now, looking back now, in the Muslim community, looking back and say, yeah, what can we do? That spirit is good, alhamdulillah, and we want to encourage that. So the Majlis Ashur has taken up the call. Majlis Ashur, Islamic Leadership Council. We had a press conference the other day. There was about 40 imams out there, you know. All right? We were excited. We read our little statement, alhamdulillah. I was trying to have it today. You know what I'm saying? It's on my phone, but I couldn't download it. You know what I'm saying? But we're expressing our solidarity with the black struggle. What? For what? Their rights and for justice. You know, this is our opportunity to connect with the people who are striving for social justice based on the concept of hilf al-fudul. Hilf al-fudul. What is hilf al-fudul? That's the covenant that the prophet said he witnessed when he was a boy. Good people came together and said, we're going to stand up for justice and protect the rights of the people. And he said, I witnessed that when I was a young man. And if such a proposal was given now, if such a group came together to stand up for the rights of the weak and oppressed, I would join it. In another narration, he said, I would not sacrifice red camels for such a proposal. That was our prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see? So the Majlis Ashur is kind of like all in, and they say, Imam, you're going to lead us. You're going to tell us what you use Siraj and all. Brother, okay. All right, we got to be patient, though. We can't just jump out there because some of the brothers want to go and rally and have demonstrations. Hold it, man. No, it ain't time for that. Other people's doing it. I don't care what they're doing. They're going to funerals, crowds. No. We got to be careful. You know, the coronavirus is still a fitna, it's still an emergency, it's still a plague, people still catching it. And everywhere they have kind of like eased up, you know what I'm saying, the lockdown, it has it's resurfaced. Even in Saudi Arabia, even in Mecca, Medina, in the Middle East, it's happening. I read it in the Wall Street Journal this morning. Wow. It's spreading, it's re-emerging. Okay? Because we're too hasty. Instead of holding up, stop and reflect. What is Allah telling us? What is Allah telling us? What does Allah want us to do? He don't want you to be hasty. The Prophet ﷺ said, when fitna comes, he who sits is better than he who stands. And he who stands is better than he who walks. And he who walks is better than he who leaps. Meaning, slow down. Look out there, you see the crowd, you see people. Slow down. Be patient. We have Allah. We have Allah. We have our Salah. We have our Quran. You know, purify yourself. Clean yourself up. You know, there'll be time. So racism, you know, Islam has a solution. So if you don't leave nothing else today, remember that Islam is the solution. We have to exemplify it. We have to show the brotherhood. We have to show that the Pakistani and the African American, we brothers. You know, the Arabs and the non-Arab, we brothers, alhamdulillah, and really love each other for the sake of Allah. Really love each other for the sake of Allah. And cut out all this nonsense that this stuff that we have been doing in prior years. You know, let's really pick up, make the change that need to be made. Come together as a community and doing things together, and we will, alhamdulillah. And what we can do for our African American community, part of the struggle for social justice, I'm going to end with this here, and I'll give you some instruction about procedure for the masjid. I don't know. Now, I've been saying this quite often now to the imams and all of them, the president of the masjid. I told them straight up, if we want to help Africans, then we have to join the reparation movement. We have to join the reparation movement. You know, the reparation, to repair. You know, the root word in reparation is to repair the damage that was done to us as a people. By acknowledging what you did was wrong. And be open about it. Fess up. Yeah, you dehumanize a people. You took their language and you took their culture and you took their language and you took their religion from them and cast them aside. You know? And then you segregated them. All this went on 400 years. Ain't no people on the planet had a run like we had in terms of oppression. Consistently, 400 years, and you wonder why, you know, some of our people act the way they act. That's the trauma of it, man. So people don't get it. Bottom line. You see? So the first thing we can do, and all the immigrant brothers, is jump on board, man. Reparation, repair. Acknowledge the wrong. Tell the government, you know, you were wrong what y'all did. Stand up and get involved with that effort. And demand that you pay them. And the people, you know, Oprah don't need a check. Magic Johnson don't need a check. And all these celebrities and artists who have made it big, they don't need a check. But the people in the neighborhood, yeah, they can use a check. The unemployed and the disenfranchised, they can use a check that can kind of bring them up. That's what the reparation is all about. To pay us for damages. Pay us for all of the money that you have made, the residual income, the residual wealth that you earned for hundreds of years on the backs of black people. It was ridiculous. You know, so today people say, well, that's what my ancestors did, my great, they did all of that, Thomas Jefferson, all that. But I ain't nothing to do. Yes, you do. You still benefiting from it now. And we can't catch up. We cannot catch up. So that whole idea about you got to lift your own self up by your own bootstrap, lie. No, you can't, because they keep us down through the systemic racism, brothers and sisters. Come on, don't you understand what I'm talking about? You can't catch up. You can go to all the wealth seminars you want to learn what you can learn, so you can get that dream house and that nice neighborhood and all that. But they got all these things in place to keep you away from that. See, that's what people are tired of. See, that's what has to change. You see? But reparation, just pay us like you paid, like the Jews got paid for the Holocaust. Through pressure. And ain't enough of us been hollering about that, making noise about that. And I've mentioned before, it's upon regret over the years that I didn't, I believed in restoration all the time, but I never was on it. I was never on it like I feel it now. I told Imam Siraj, well, how's this morning, man? I said, hey, I wish we had a nice, long conversation. I don't know, man. We got to get on this. All the black people, you want to know what Muslims can do to help black people? I don't know. We need to connect with the black leaders. Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, all them people that was running for the nomination of the presidency, all of them on board. This first question black people asked them, well, where you stand on reparations? 79% of black people said we need to get paid. We need to get paid. We can't ignore that, and it's not a handout of what they owe us. They got rich off of us, man. So that's what I want to leave y'all with, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, reflect upon, inshallah. And, yeah, we need help here. We need help here. Allahu Akbar. We need, some of the people are asking me, what do y'all need? And that's where we have to start. Before you start out there, start in the African-American Muslim community right here. Took us 25 years to get this here. It should have been done. People got the money. So you wonder, wow, what are people holding back? And I can give you some stories, but that's okay. We finished this. It took us 25 years to get to this here. It's this small, humble message, but how many we're here? No, we're grateful. We're grateful. But we still got work to do. And this is a milestone for us, and we're quite proud of that. Alhamdulillah. We proud. We proud. We feel good. You know what I'm saying? But we still have about $40,000 of some immediate needs, and I can go through it, fencing and landscaping and equipment and sheds. We need some cash. I need about $40,000. I don't have the printout before me. I can give you every item if you want to pay. If you a sound system, a sophisticated sound system with monitors. Yeah, $5,000. You want to donate? You got it, man. Alhamdulillah. And those who hear this talk today, yeah, that's what we need. $1,900 put the fence around our unit outside, so vandals don't come up on and start, I don't know, messing with our building. You see, and so there's a lot of specific things that we need in terms of cash, and so you just send us the cash, send us the money to help us do it, or contact me personally, or so any of the brothers or sisters in the community. And get specifics, and if you want to donate. And we 501c, and get the tax write-off and all of that. But we still have a lot of need. Yes, we do. Beyond the program that we want to implement in the community for the children and for the overall community, meaning, the Muslim community as well as the non-Muslim. Inshallah. So these are some things I wanted to share with you. In closing, as far as the masjid is concerned, alhamdulillah, we want to, just remind. And so we're going to have to do 2 jumas. But so far it's okay, because people haven't gotten the word yet. I have to keep it to a certain number. I don't even know what the count is right now. It's okay. All right? And then they're saying 25%. I'm not going that way. I want to keep the space because I respect you. I don't want nothing to happen to you. I don't want nothing to happen to me. All right? And so we can't do what other people are doing. They want to be all crowded in. We can't do that. We got to keep the space. That's why we marked the floor that we did. And so we want to do maybe our second juma. So after we do the first juma, then there'll be another juma come in after that. And all right. And so in the future, inshallah, we'll have to finish the juma, leave, and let the other shift come in. And we'll put the sign up. We'll put it on our website. I'm just letting you know it's coming down the pike. All right. And it's always good at that just to call me until you get that information. Just give us a call to find out. Is it okay to come to juma? Or whatnot? Because of the number thing. That's all. Just call. Like a brother called me. Imam, is it okay? I said, yeah, you can come. Because I'm keeping count, basically, you see. So we don't want to have a situation where we all crowded, inshallah. Got to keep the space, inshallah. All right. And so may Allah SWT, bless you, inshallah. May Allah SWT forgive us all for our shortcomings, inshallah. May Allah increase us in our iman, increase us in our love and appreciation of each other as a ummah. And may Allah SWT make us an example, to help our people all over, man, and to get the justice that they deserve, alhamdulillah. And may Allah SWT make us strong, and our young people step up, step up, step up, step up. We got to go to work. Project Allahu Akbar, Masjid Allahu Akbar, this is a community effort. The masjid is just one aspect. We're trying to build up the whole community. You see? So we need your expertise, we need your commitment, we need your work, your talents and your time to make it happen. May Allah SWT again bless you all. May Allah help our ummah to get through the trials and tribulations. May Allah forgive us our sins. May Allah SWT forgive us our shortcomings. May Allah SWT bless our ummah, bless our young people, bless our children, bless our elders, bless our leaders. May Allah help our brothers and sisters all over the world, in Syria, in Bangladesh, in Kashmir, and all wherever the Muslims are suffering, in Syria. I mean, we're in it. May Allah, protect our people, protect the ummah of Muhammad, wherever they're suffering, whatever their needs are. Allah provide for us. Allah protect us from this virus. Help us to get through. Inna Allah wa malaikatu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.